Artificial intelligence will not replace teachers and instructors, but it can certainly help us do our jobs a little bit more effectively by reducing the amount of time it takes to do certain tasks. As an example, if I'm creating an assessment and I'm creating an engagement activity and I'm creating a course outline and I'm creating a rubric, all of those things take time, especially if I want to create variations. So for example, if I wanted to create 4 different variations on an assignment, maybe one that's aimed towards people that prefer sports analogies, another one that's aimed at people that prefer movie analogies. I want to create variety in my class. I want to create engagement. I really want to help my students learn by meeting them where they are. Well, that's time consuming, and traditionally we just don't have that time. Well, by using AI and combining it with our skills as instructors and teachers, what we can do is we can produce content a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, and in a way that reaches a better audience, if you would, a better student experience. And I'll show you those tools and you'll see that they're very useful. Always remembering that we still bring our critical self into the process and we're just saving time. We still want to maintain quality. So let's take a look at these 6 tools. The first tool that I like to use is called MagicSchool. MagicSchool AI allows me to do a number of things like general administration all the way to content creation. So for example, underneath my teachers tools, I might have things like writing feedback or professional emails, working with academic content. That's always quite interesting because I can go in and set a grade level in here. You can see that there's lots of different grade levels in here. I can go in and I can add files, for example, if I have standards or existing files. And this is just one example. I can go in and use all sorts of different tools like lesson planners, rubric generators. We even have a chatbot that we can use in order to have a thought partner in our education process. And there's a student aspect to MagicSchool, so I can use it as a teacher if I sign in as a teacher, but I can also have students use it as a tool that will let them go in and create their own learning assistants and writing feedback and having an AI tutor. These are all fantastic ways of interacting with an AI. In fact, I do cover some of these things in my book, Learning with AI, where we build AI as a tutor system. This one here is a built-in tutor system. And in my book, I talk a little bit about creating my own prompts in a generative AI tool. But that's my first tool, and it's a very useful one. There's a lot to MagicSchool, and you can go in and you can explore all the different ways to create better content in a faster way. The next tool is called Diffit for teachers. Now you can see that I've logged in, and this looks a little bit more like my traditional generative AI chatbot, like an OpenAI like ChatGPT or Claude or such. But you can see that this is geared for teachers. I have the ability to come in and start new. I can build up a resource library, so you can see there's already some pre-made resources in here already for things like algebra, measurement and data exercises. So there's quite a lot in here, and there's subjects like medieval England and France. So there's lots that we have that are pre-made in here. You can come in and you can see that I can start working with things like reading passages. I can do things like a lesson kit, exit ticket to check understanding. So I can do a lot more meaningful assessment when I build these types of things. If you go up, you can see that I can work with scaffolding exercises. That's something I really like, a scaffolded approach to ensuring that we allow students to work through a topic at different levels. We can do test prep math, set up stations, a study guide, a quiz. I can attach material. With all of these tools, if I bring my existing material into the environment, then I'm going to be able to generate more content from that. Now, I will put out a little caution. We do not want to load any content that is not directly ours. For example, I would never want to load in any intellectual property that didn't belong to me if I was working for a school where the content belonged to the school, as an example. But if this is my own teaching material, my own materials, I can bring it in. Or if it's public materials or open source resources. So you can adapt, which is very interesting. So This is something that's very important if you have a diverse population in your school or in your class specifically. You may have people that have English as a second language. You may have people, or English as an additional language. You may have people that they struggle with reading, and that becomes an obstacle for their learning. Well, that's not cool. Let's meet them where they are, and let's give them something a little more easy to read, and we'll scaffold them through the learning process. So there's quite a lot here. The alignment, so I can align to standards. So in this case, I'd log in and I set up and build an account. Right now, I actually am not signed in, but you can sign up for a free account and you can sign up for the pro account as well. There's a lot that you can do with Diffit. It's a great tool. There's lots of different interesting engagement activities in here as well. And that's a tool that we can use to start really designing a lot of the education material that we build in a more structured, scaffolded way, as an example. Now, the third tool is an interesting tool because you may already be using this tool for different type of design projects, but you can use Canva for classroom materials, of course. And we have Canva in the classroom, and I won't go into Canva here in detail. It's a fantastic program for designing and doing so much. But what I wanted to point out here is that Canva is an excellent tool for teaching and learning. In fact, if you go into Canva and you are a teacher, you can get special discounts as well. And if you take a look here, they have an entire course on how you can start using Canva in order to bring it into the classroom. They're very supportive of education. Canva's a great company for that, and they have great tools that they will allow you to use for learning. So Canva is a great tool. There's a lot more to be said about it, but I did want to point out that as an instructor, you can come in here, identify yourself as a teacher, and get some great training resources and get some great resources available to you. Now, the fourth tool, well, it's actually really two tools, but I'll just show you one of them. This will make sense in a second, is the built-in tools to whatever classroom system that we might be using. So if you are a Google environment where you're using Google Classroom, then you have AI built into Google Classroom. And if you're a Microsoft environment, a Microsoft educational tenant, then you have teaching tools built into Copilot 365. Now, I've done videos on Copilot 365, so I won't show that in this video. But in Google Classroom, similar idea. If you build a class, you can go in, you can set up classwork, you can work with people in the class. This is a pretty sparse class. I haven't built anything in here, but you can bring in the Google Classroom environment. And then if you just go up to your waffle here, you can bring in things like Gemini and Notebook LM in order to build and populate the content into these classroom environments. The same applies for the 365. If you're using Teams in order to create classrooms, you can build content using the Copilot 365 environment. And if you go into Copilot 365 as an educational user, there's actually teaching agents in there that can help you build some simple teaching things like quizzes and flashcards. Both are adding a lot more all the time. Google's a little bit different in that you do have to go in and grab these content creation elements, whereas Microsoft 365, they have the actual teach agent, which has a whole bunch of different functionality in it. But don't forget that you have built-in AI to tools that you might already be using. Now, the fifth tool is a very interesting tool called School.ai, which is a fantastic name. It's easy to remember. But you can see here, you can set up a profile that will tailor this environment to your specific classroom. So if I was, for example, a K-12 teacher, maybe I'm teaching grade 9 calculus, I could go in, I could set up my profile for this. You can go in and create spaces in here. And what I really like, there's some cool stuff like a little bell ringer activity, which is a way to warm up your class around a topic. So you can go into the bell ringer activity. You could go in and I could choose here to preview and launch it if I like. So I can go in and set up a goal. So for example, my topic is going to be smart goal setting. This is a preview. So I'm just going in here. I can go in, launch it. And then what it'll do is allow me to see a little activity. Learners can join using a code, right? So you can invite participants in. I have a control center where I'm able to see participants playing with this activity. So we can have engagement, which is very, very important when we're trying to get students to communicate with each other. We're trying to get students to feel like they're part of the classroom. I especially like activities like this, where the student can use their phone in order to join the class if they have phones in the environment, or you can have other ways of working through these activities. But especially when students can have control over their participation a little bit, and where they can go in and work to start the process of warming up, if you would, for learning. But there's a lot more to School.ai. The bell ringer activity is just one interesting one in here. Again, it has tools like exit tickets. We can go in and take a look at videos and explore videos. So there are some fantastic videos available, for example, on YouTube. Veritasium I'm thinking about, or Astrum. Those are space and science ones that I particularly like. But there's a lot, and we can use that to help us with our learning as well. We can develop lesson plans. Across the top here, you can see I've got planning activities that I can work in here, instructional materials that I can build, different types of assessments that I can create, as well as rubrics. I can come in and have student support tools in here. So, behavior intervention plans that I can have, letters of recommendation. That's always something that's useful if you have a bit of a template for, and it can help you with your administrative tasks. We can have multiple subjects in here. So from arts and humanities to English and career and technology. So School.ai has a lot of features that are worth exploring to see if it's a good fit for the classes that you're teaching and some of the things that you might want to be able to get some help with. The sixth tool is one that I actually use quite a bit. It's called Eduaide. And Eduaide is one that I find has a lot of different things that I like to use in my classrooms for engagement, for planning, for those types of things. What I like about Eduaide is underneath lesson planning, for example, I have a lot of choice of different types of lesson plans that I might like to use. So for example, Spark lessons or UDL planners, which is really good, especially if you have a diverse population of students in your classroom. So we can do all sorts of different ways of doing authentic assessment that meet the needs of the learner. There's lots of lesson plans. There's a lot of different printable things I can do. Now, underneath printables, there's more than just the printables, because I have worksheets, so things like you'd expect, a handwritten practice worksheet, or things like a short answer worksheet. Those are great. But I also have things like organizer pages, which are fantastic. So I can do things like concept maps and mind maps and know, want, learn in here. So these are fantastic different templates and organizers that I can use. And then games are very, very good for engagement. I've found that a lot of the students really respond well when the review takes the form of a game. It feels low stakes, but what it really does is it allows them to have a social activity that uses their knowledge. The game is the social activity, and then they're doing things like active recall in order to answer. Plus, it's just fun. It's fun to have some engagement in the classroom, and you can see there's a lot of different options here for games. Jeopardy is very, very popular amongst the students that I've taught, but there's other games in here as well. We have assessment builders. We do have things like the multiple choice quiz, which are great for spot knowledge checking. So there are some, standard types of quizzes in here, but you can see that we can have different scenario-based applications. So there's some really good assessment tools in here. There's a workspace, so we can create a resource workspace in there, and then we can, take a look at our history. One of the things with Eduaide as well, and this goes for all of them, is they have extensive help and support. So there's a little Eduaide Academy, for example, that'll walk me through some of the featured resources. Will make it onto the front page. So a lot of the games in here, and if I want, I can just view all resources, which is going to be this massive amount of resources, but it's worth getting familiar with them. Something that you will have noticed with all of these tools that we looked at in this video is that you're in control. You as the instructor, you as the teacher, you're really guiding the process. Nobody is going to know your students as well as you. AI cannot automate this process. You're the one that will mix the resources in a way that gets learning to happen in your classroom environment. And these are just some of the things that we can do for effective teaching. here on the channel, we look mostly at educational technology and how we can learn and use technology in an authentic way. So this is a technology-focused channel, but there's a lot of things we can do as instructors that don't even involve this type of technology. But it sure is nice when I do want to create a game or when I want to create a rubric, I want to build out my lesson plan, that we can use artificial intelligence to guide and help us and to get through some of these things in the terms of the creation process a little bit faster. We can try more things, but we bring our authentic self to the process to ensure that we have quality and to ensure that the outcomes and the process matches what we're hoping to accomplish in the classroom. I'd be interested to know what of these tools you've used in the past, which ones are interesting to you that you'd like to try out. If there's other tools that you think are useful, comment down below and let me know. And we always are trying to explore new tools here on the channel, so we can go into any of these tools in further depth where we really deep dive into them. But for this video, just wanted to do a nice overview and give you a little catalog of tools that you can begin exploring and commenting down below on your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.